Welcome to Sacred Cow Shipyards, where no ship is safe from being taken down to its nuts and bolts. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea-beams glitter in the dark near Tannhauser Gate. And all those moments have taught me just how fragile you squishies actually are. And that's kind of the lead-in for today's episode. This is not going to be a spaceship episode. This is not going to be a starbase episode. This is just going to be an episode where I get to have fun for once in my weird little bizarre-assed life. And I get to have fun by telling John Krasinski that he's wrong about his own creation. And maybe I should couch that a little better. Let me be more specific and clear and other words similar to those words. John Krasinski is an amazing actor for y'all humies in your current time and universe. He's a more amazing director, and he's even a more amazing storyteller, as can be discerned by his A Quiet Place series of movies. Those are just some epic storytelling. And to his credit, he went into the first movie having an idea of what the antagonist was going to be like, even though he showed us almost nothing about the antagonist. Deliberately. That was the whole point. It was fun that way. But then there was a second movie, and his concept of the antagonist kind of got strained. Let's go strained. So, I'm not expressly saying he's wrong. I'm just saying that maybe he didn't think it all the way through. So here's me having fun, telling an amazing actor, director, and writer that he got his own stuff not quite wrong. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to have fun with this and just go with it. Cool. Because really, over the years, I've interacted with a lot of y'all squishies coming in and out of my spaceport, and I will acknowledge that the organic concept of life is varied and wide and broad and just weird. But the critters from A Quiet Place are a special case of really, really weird. And yes, apparently they're called death angels. I prefer critters. We're going to keep calling them critters. It. So the only reason we're actually having this conversation, monologue, whatever you want to call it, is that the first movie in the Quiet Place series actually abided by John Krasinski's concept of the critters. And then the second movie happened, which actually showed us a lot more of the critters and provided us a lot more of the background, perhaps, because it was both a prequel and a sequel simultaneously. And then things started getting kind of vague. And this is where all of y'all squishies who are concerned about spoilers should go ahead and check the out, because I'm probably going to talk about stuff that happened in the second movie, and if you haven't watched the second movie yet, yeah, you should just leave or just not whine at me, because it's going to happen. Alright, first off, apparently these critters can survive the voids of space and re-entering the atmosphere possibly unassisted, because apparently they rode down on a meteor that was cruising through the atmosphere. Only at some point, they, detached themselves from the meteor and free fell to Earth. Because the first time that we learn about them in the prequel, sequel, second act of A Quiet Place is both before the meteor actually hit and after the critters are already on the ground. So, wow, someone grossly over-engineered those critters, which kind of is my point, but we're getting there. I may have just unburied the lead. Oh well. So these critters can survive the rigors of vacuum and the absolute terrors of a very slow re-entry and the ridiculousness of letting go of a still on fire meteor and plummeting down to the planet beneath them, and they survive all of that. Okay, fine. We'll just accept that that's going to be a thing now. And I guess, technically, all of that explains how they are functionally resistant to knives, bullets, cars, and basically anything else you squishy humans want to throw at them. Because, seriously, if these dumb shits can survive re-entry on their own, your bullets are not going to bother them. And really, your bullets don't, so we'll just go ahead and accept that for what it is. Unless you can get one of them to open up their head. Yes, I said open up their head. This is where it all gets kind of weird. See, the critters are blind, only that's not actually accurate. The critters have no eyes to begin with. They literally have no visual spectrum awareness whatsoever. They observe their reality through echolocation and through an obscenely acute sense of hearing. And that's all courtesy of like this multi-layered fractal auditory reception / clicking system they have built into their head that, like the rest of their body, is armored with their ridiculously strong skin, because it's not really an exoskeleton per se, but they have to open it up to be able to hear and to be able to send out the clicks that they echo respond off of. Yeah, that is kind of weird. But here's actually where it gets kind of weirder. They do send out clicks, kind of like the flying rat things that you have on Terra. Bats. Yes, bats. The critters do send out pings, for lack of a better word, kind of like bats. It's an acoustic sound that they pulse out and supposedly listen for a return of. Except the critters don't seem to respond when there's moving things while they're pinging. I don't actually know why they're pinging. In fact, the critters basically only respond when humans make noise that is abnormal. Now, how you want to define abnormal? It's all plot armor and exposition and blah, 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 so on and so forth. The critters don't seem to go after, like, birds singing. They don't seem to go after insects. They just seem to go after humans making humy noises. I mean, who can blame them? But that gets to my primary point. And it's this. John Krasinski presents these critters as an organic development through evolution, in that they're supreme hunters a la the sharks in the Terran waters of your current age. My contention is that they were engineered. They're the first wave contact of an invading species. And the second movie kind of drives the point home for me. Because the second movie illustrates that the critters don't actually hunt. They don't. What they do is they stop noise. They stop things from making noise. Now, 99.9999% of the time, their method of stopping that noise is killing the thing that makes the noise. But then they don't eat the thing that made the noise. In fact, they don't even slow down when they stop that one thing from making noise. They move on to the next thing that was making noise. And by the way, when I'm saying things, I mean people, because these things are just murder machines. But the kicker is, it's not just people. It's also cop cars and radios and literally anything that is making noise that is considered to be not natural. Whatever that phrase might mean to you. Apparently these critters have some concept of it in their really weird noggins. My point is that all they're doing is trying to stop the noise. The second movie showed us a train car full of desiccated, not quite decomposed corpses, because it had only been a year since the landing had happened, but they were corpses that had simply been killed and then left. The critters don't hunt. They simply kill. I actually don't remember actually seeing the critters eat anyone. And this is where John Krasinski's concept of the critters kind of falls apart. Apparently these things can hibernate for years, just chilling out in the wilderness, waiting for someone or something to make noise that violates whatever their concept of natural noise is, and then they will straight murder machine that thing and go back to sleep again. But, okay, they are not eating these things, and that's really my hang-up, honestly. One of these things murdered a whole train car, in fact, multiple train cars, full of people, and left them untouched but dead. It didn't even try to eat any of them. It didn't take a bite. It didn't take a snack. It didn't do anything. We've never seen them dragging bodies off to some den. We have never seen them doing anything. And given how strong they are, their caloric requirement must be obscene. So here's my completely in violation of canonical history hypotheses about the Quiet Place critters. They were deliberately engineered. They're the first round invasion force of an alien entity who was able to successfully bioengineer this critter that just takes out all of the higher order species on a given planet, because typically higher order species and their associated technology make a lot of noise, and then they just wait around for the next round of invaders to show up and then get quarreled off or killed off or turned off or whatever it is that their creators decided to do with them. Because frankly, this whole, like, I know you humans have this species that you allow to sit in your laps and are like nature's perfect murder machine, except they're so tiny and they're apparently furry and they make this weird happy noise. They're called ducks. Ducks, yes, they're called ducks. I know that these things are kind of like ducks in your concept, in that they just kill everything and they occasionally eat something. But I don't remember seeing the critters from Quiet Place eat anything. And even if they did eat everything, I'm not convinced it would actually keep them alive for their entire, like, murder mode / hibernation mode. And then their skin and the fact that they can survive vacuum and the fact that they can survive re-entry. Yeah, there's not a planet where they could have naturally evolved on, because they would have just killed off everything on that planet and then died themselves because they ran out of food. So I guess I'm sorry, John Krasinski. I love you. You're a great actor. You're a great director. You're a great author. This particular detail doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Still, great movies, and if you haven't seen A Quiet Place Part 2, you probably should, because it does actually live up to the first one. Take that for whatever it's worth. And that's all from Sacred Cow Shipyards. Please be advised that any ship left on the dock for more than 24 hours will be compressed to a cube. Have a good day.